Another quick little demo here on how to do some more to scale bricks, closer to scale brickwork. I'm going to use a combination of grayscale markers and then go over it a bit with colored pencil to kind of add some color. So the first thing I'm going to do is outline each of the brick. I like to make sure I leave a little space in between them and a little bit rounded edges so that you can see these grout lines. The next thing is to go through with my markers and create some variance in what the tones of those grout lines mean. I've kind of picked that my light is coming from that top left corner. So I'm going to randomly darken a couple grout lines underneath some bricks and not others so that they have a little bit of a difference of depth. Next thing is to take, I've got one of my lightest grays and sort of randomly texture and pick a couple bricks to start receding, and then build up some more with a darker gray on top of that. The darker the color, I'd say the less large of a swatch you want to do. So like with the lighter grays, you can kind of cover a whole brick and it seems fine. With the really dark grays, it's nice to break it up and use those to sort of make the texture of individual bricks, as well as using them to differentiate, you know, maybe this brick's darker, that brick's lighter. So next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to switch to colored pencils now, is just focus on creating little bits of color. I'm sort of bless you, to my dog, sorry. Layering some of these colors purposefully over the darker areas that I created with the marker, but also jumping around and not treating every brick the same. So just because I used one marker there doesn't mean I always have to use the same colored pencil to go over it. So you're trying to create as much variance as possible. I'm taking a really sharp, dark pencil and really tightening the shadows on the bottoms of each of these bricks so that they stand out and have some depth. I like to use a couple different browns. Some of them are very, very red, which works nicely, and then a couple like orangey gold tones to warm up a few bricks. You can see I'm trying to sort of hop around all the time, so I'm never focusing too much on really blending one brick or getting anything incredibly smoothly. Letting the texture of the colored pencil actually help build up the texture inside of the brick, so we're not worried about blending it, we're not worried about burnishing it. Here we're just using it to add some color and still seeing some of that gray marker coming through. There's my light arrow that I forgot to put in earlier. So with the black, I'm going through and darkening the shadows in the grout, but I'm also adding just a couple touches of really dark shadows and maybe some grooves to show the directionality of the texture of the brick. So as I've added the pencil on all of these, I'm keeping my pencils running horizontal to the actual brick itself. I'm not scribbling back and forth. It helps me to create a consistent texture with all of them. It's also easier. I used a white colored pencil to clean up a couple grout lines, and you can even go back over it with your gray marker if something needs to just be bumped back and forth, a whole brick or a whole section. So that is a nice kind of quick way to deal with creating a nice brick texture on a wall.